that will stay up there. Good evening and welcome back to the shed. So in this video, in the little Bonneville America to Bonneville side project, I'm going to have a look at the front end and make a decision on what I'm going to do with that. So at the moment I've got obviously a whole America front end on the America. So it's the wheel, the forks and the yokes. I've got the Bonneville frame, I've got a set of Bonneville yokes, that's it in terms of a Bonneville front end. Now the front wheel on the America is an 18-inch. I believe, off the top of my head, I probably could be wrong, but the spoke wheel, if you will, Bonnevilles are 19, and obviously the mag wheels are 17. So that's different, but I think one of the main things is I think the hubs are wider, possibly. This is just from some, as I've been looking at the two and trying to compare them up before I've actually gone to the point of taking the front end off the America and trying to offer it into a Bonneville. I've just kind of had a bit of an eyeball, and it is very crude eyeballing, just with a ruler and looking at it, but it looks like it might be wider. The axle is a fatter axle in the America. The forks are slightly different, so I don't think I'm going to be able to get the America wheel and the America forks, even changing the spacing, to actually fit into the Bonneville yokes. The forks are closer together in the Bonneville, I don't think. Or out of the two options, it's going to be harder to do that. There'll be more faffing. So the other alternative I've got, you can't just stick the whole front end on from the America onto a Bonneville, because all the steering stem is much longer. Although the steering stem and the bearing sizes are the same in both models, the stem is longer, so all the kind of offset and your brake and all that are all different, so that won't work. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is, I prefer the look of the Bonneville yokes to the America. I think they just look a lot nicer. The America yokes, Speedmasters, if I'm going to be honest, I kind of find them a little bit ugly. They're a bit slabby. But that's the negative sides. On the plus side, if I push out the steering stem from the Bonneville yokes and push out the steering stem on the America yokes, switch the stems around, what I'm going to be left with is a Bonneville steering stem attached to the yokes of an America with the America forks, which I'll have to shorten, and the America front wheel. That way I don't have to mess around with kind of trying to line them up, get the front wheel to sit correctly, which I just don't think it's going to do in the narrower distance I've got on the Bonneville forks. I could be wrong, but I just don't think that's going to work. The other thing is, it's going to look a little bit more unusual on that bike. It's just not going to look just like a Bonneville. It's going to look a bit weird because it's going to have the slightly wider front end. So that's kind of quirky in itself, which appeals to me. I think that it sold me on that. The other thing is, I've made that mudguard, and with the hoops being bent on there, I won't be able to make them that narrower or make it fit the same way if I was to go narrower. So switching two steering stems around, in theory, should be easier, and I can just put the whole of the America front end, mudguard, everything, no messing around with spacers, blah de blah de blah, in. And to and fro and thinking about it, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm pretty sure I can get the Triumph dog bone clamp, which I just really like. I think that's going to fit on the top yoke of the America. My yokes are sort of silvery on the America, so I'm going to spray them up black as well, so that will kind of take away, hopefully, a little bit of the slabbiness. And as I say, yeah, on a winner, it's all going to slot in the same. It's going to look a bit unusual, and I'm not going to have to make a new mudguard or any mounts. So I think with those plus points, they win over the aesthetic point of the Bonneville yokes. So if that makes any sense, let's have a look at the yoke sets, and then let's have a look at how I'm going to push the stems out and see if I can make it all
So
work.
here we go, our 2 sets of bottom yokes. Obviously on the left is your standard Bonneville, so I think they're a little bit narrower than the SE, my SE. So I've got Jen's got the Bonneville, like the T100 or that ilk of bike, which is these yokes. Obviously on the hardtail is an SE model, or a magwheel model rather, which I think are slightly wider apart. And then obviously you've got the America here, which look hugely wider apart, and also just, I think, a very ugly set of yokes on these things. Not pretty at all, in my opinion, but you know, hey ho. It's not just one piece of a slab, because you could say, oh, why didn't you just, you know, you could cut it down a little bit and what have you, but you know, you can't really because of the casting. So that's going to stay as it is, except it's going to go black. But as you can see, the steering stem, so exactly the same pretty much. Diameter, the bearings are the same, but the only difference is the length of the steering stems. So I'm going to try and press this one out of this yoke, press this one out of this yoke, switch Rui, some fresh bearings, and then hopefully that'll be what we need, and that'll look alright. So I think that's going to look better when it goes black. It won't look quite as garish as it is. And when I, you know, it's only now having them side to side that that really stands out. Yeah, we'll work it out. Some of the other things that is going to of note, obviously the steering locks are totally different on both frames and yokes. So the America has like a bit here where it knocks against here. The Bonneville has a piece sticking out where it obviously knocks on there. So what I'll probably end up doing is, when this is together and I work out what my steering lock is going to be, I'll just simply replicate these nubbins by drilling and tapping, and probably just having some socket head bolts in there. That'll be more than adequate to be my steering locks. That's what I'm thinking off the top of my head at the moment. But there we go. This is actually not the one off my actual America. This is a spare that I had, just because it had some bolts that was just completely and utterly corroded and seized in here, and one of the pinch bolts wouldn't come out. But I've spent about 2 hours heat slowly and messing around, and managed to get this pinch bolt out, and then just cleaned the threads out. Luckily it was just some severely horrible corrosion which just jammed everything up, and just a bit of patience and perseverance got that out. I'd say that was about 2 hours, but I didn't really want to mess up the threads. But we're all good. They've had the taps run through them, some nice fresh bolts in, all cleaned up, super duper. Anyway, right, so we're going to press them out. And the way we're going to do that is with my cheap Chinese hydraulic press. So this is my little press. So 20 tons. So in theory that should be enough to do the job. And yeah, let's get to it. So I think we'll go for the America one first. I've got an old top nut on here because, even though I'm not using this steering stem, I don't think there's any point in knackering something just because you're not going to use it. Let's keep it nice and clean. But I want to keep the threads, the weight pushing down on here. This is a bit of a sacrificial one. I've got a couple of these. So I shall put that on, and we can bear down as we press there, because it's going to push from there down and out through the bottom. That's how they're fixed in. There's no retaining clips, I don't think, on these, but so it'll get pushed out that way. I'm also going to get a big socket, or a socket big enough to, oh, in fact this one right here, let's see, 30mm. I'm just going to have that there, just to bear down on, so we're not stressing the bottom yoke too much. I have heard that you can, you know, distort them a little bit. I don't know, but let's not chance it. That should be enough just to pop that through. It's only going to be this distance here It's like the interference fit, and then the rest should come through. So let's get it rocking. So I've used this a few times on different stuff, but nothing too heavy duty, just messing around really. But this is the first time I've used it in anger on something a bit more heavy duty. I think I might actually just get some heat on here and just heat this up. That can't hurt to try and expand things a little bit, I reckon, before we get cracking. Oh, and I better look for some safety specs, I suppose. Don't care about this bearing. This is an old bearing that was on it, so that can quite happily go toast. So we are through. Super duper. Right, let's do the same to the Bonneville one. Okay. Going again. So that popping sound is it obviously just breaking through. go. So that's the one I want. It's the one that I want. Right, happy days. There we go. So I'm just going to give this a bit of a clean up whilst everything's off it, and it's just easier to access some bits, I think. I'm not going to spray it up then press it in. I'm going to clean it up, press it in, then I'll spray it later, because I really want to get it on the bike and have a little look-see this weekend if I can. And this one, even though you look way nicer, I think is going to just be a spare for now, or if anyone has got a Bonneville front end they want to stick on in America, we could do that. But let's go. So I've had a slight change of plan. I've given the yoke a clean up, but I think I'm going to attempt to make my steering stops first, while this is sort of in an easier position to drill and get on the drill press, because I suddenly think once I've got the steering stem in, it's going to be a bit more awkward getting a drill in, or indeed getting it under the drill press. So yeah, I'm going to go this way now. I'm kind of going on a little bit of a wing and a prayer, because I'm just going to I've just taken the measurements from the centre here with these steering stops and transferred it directly onto this one. I've just run upstairs quickly. Of course, it's all holding it and kind of trying to guesstimate it. And obviously the bottom will work, that's fine. And yeah, that looks all good. And I'm just kind of hoping that the top yoke is going to work okay, and it's not going to foul the tank. I've kind of tried to roughly work it out. The only top yoke I've got is obviously the one that's on the bike at the moment, and I'll be honest, I'm being a little bit lazy and can't be bothered taking it off. But even then, even if I did, it's still wibbly wobbly guessing, because I haven't pressed a stem or got a bearing in to hold it all together. So, but from what I can gather, we should be okay there. So hell, let's just go for it. I'm going to just drill and tap some holes, and I'm just going to use some socket head screws in there. It's going to be something like this. Not sure whether to go with the larger or the smaller. Bigger. I think I'm going to go with the smaller first, simply because I think that will work, and if it don't, we can just go bigger. But that is near enough the same kind of size as that one. And in terms of height, I'll screw it down onto there first, and if it needs to come up, then we might just have to make a little spacer underneath it. But we can tickle that as we get to it. pop those in. Just put a couple of washers and there we go. I imagine I'll probably Loctite them in when we come to reassemble it all, but I might just nip upstairs, offer it up. I know I haven't got the steering stem in, but just have a look at how it looks with check everything's hunky-dory around the steering stem. Right, so this is obviously going to be just a guesstimate. It's fairly centralised in there, but see on the lock. Yep, good. And just looking height wise, I might have to put a bit more of a spacer in depending on how much I'm guessing with the bearing and the seal and whatnot. Dust seal will be about there, so I might just pop them up so they're a bit higher, but that's okay, that can be all finessed. So the question is, alright, I'll pop the stem in now and then clean it, get all the greasy marks off it and spray it up. Yeah, I think that's the next stage. Just put a little bit of grease around the stem. Don't want to go in dry. A little bit of lube always helps. Of course, one thing to notice, if you were bothered about your steering lock, you would probably take note as to where that goes. I don't ever use mine, so not bothered. So there's a couple of black coats on. Just leave that to dry and do a few more tomorrow. That's the yoke sprayed up and done. I'm just going to leave it for a little while, about a week or so, just to cure off before I start trying to press the bearing back down. Might try and get a bit, I haven't got any pipe that's a larger diameter than that, but I'd like to maybe use that, and then we can try pressing the bearing on instead of me doing the usual drift and tapping it down. That might be a bit easier. Yeah, that turned out okay. So that's pretty much it for this video. Just going to wait for the paint to dry. I think I was kind of hoping to have got the front wheel and the forks and everything off the America, just maybe get them offered up onto the Bonneville frame to see how all that sits together. But yeah, slight change of plan. So I did the steering stops and then painted it up. So I'm just going to wait for that, and I want to get the bearing in. Plus I'm obviously using America every day to get to work, so I need that every day. But we're coming up to the Christmas period, so I'm going to finish work for a couple of weeks. So that might give me a little, if I haven't got to use the bike and have to get anywhere, I've got a few days, then I can afford to take more stuff off the America and pop it on the Bonneville. So hopefully over the next couple of weeks I can be a bit more invasive. Yeah, that's the only thing that's going to be a bit of a tricky thing to manage, is obviously I need to have wheels to get around and get to work and get myself about. So there's certain things with the America I can't afford to have it off the road for very long, to try the bits that I need off that onto the bike. I am kind of formulating a slight plan, because Jen doesn't ride her Bonneville through the winter really. She favours the car, so that's in the house, as you've seen. It does need some fresh tyres, which I've ordered. She wants the wheels to go black, the spoke wheels to go black, so but what I might do is get that done, and then I'll put it on the road and use that, and then that might free up the America, so I can afford to have that like off the road for a bit longer, and stuff like working out the wiring looms. Obviously the wiring looms are slightly different, so any routings or any extra brackets I've got to make, all these little sort of odds and sods that will just bite in the backside, rather than it being a straight, because it's obviously just not a straightforward swap over. So I need to just, it's just about planning my time carefully. But anyway, that's all for another time. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.